Thank you. Jamie, will you please call the roll?
Councilman Jeff Capel,
Here.
Councilwoman Jill Cole,
Here.
Councilman Lee Zerwanka,
Here.
Councilman Brian Gatt,
Here.
Vice Mayor Pramod Javeri,
Here.
Councilwoman Katie Schneider,
Here.
Mayor Mark Cirkin,
Here.
7 present.
Do I have a motion to accept tonight's agenda?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Tonight, we have the annual Blue Ash Safety Awards presentation from the American Legion Post 630. Mr. Myers, would you please do the honors?
Good evening. Now, good evening. Is it on?
Now.
Yes. Now it is. Good evening. It's really great to be with you tonight. Mr. Mayor, City Council, our wonderful municipal leaders. It's always great to come and be at one of these meetings. I'm Jim Myers, past commander of the American Legion Blue Ash Post number 630. Joe Reddick is our current commander who is here with us, and several of our other members as well. In 2017, at a discussion within our post, we decided that we would like to approach the city to be able to render an award, sponsor an award, if that would be consistent with their thinking, that we think that the peer performance persons in the fire department and police department should be recognized. Coming from a group of veterans who understand what it's like to be thanked for something now, since so many of you have taken that time as you see us with not only the gray hair, but the military cover in Kroger's and Capitals and CVS. It's nice to be recognized. We thought we would like to be able to sponsor a particular award, the Safety Awards, and that award could become an incentive or something that would be acknowledging the performance of those individuals by their peers for standing out. Performance of duty, in particular, would weigh heavy in that area. So without further ado, I did want to say one thing is that, you know, we owe so much for our people who get up every day and walk out the door, kiss their family, and go and face harm's way for each one of us. And that's true with our fire department. It's true with our police department. We understand what it's like to be away from family, to be on a foreign shore, and to be under fire. But this is something that hits close to home because why? Each one of us in this room, as citizens of this community, are beholding to our police department and our fire department for their being able to protect us day to day from the unseen and from the unknown, which can happen at any time. We wanted to show our support. The city wanted to show its support. So the American Legion is very proud to sponsor this award annually. It is an award that began in 2017. Scott Goldschmidt, Jake Bresnan, Rob Suter, Scott Breed, Ray Tuberti. How do you pronounce that, Chief? Ray Tubert, forgive me. And to this night, we're going to recognize not only one woman recipient, but 2. So this is a history-making evening, and we're very proud to be a part of this. On the police department side, Brendan McKinney, Mark Ziegler, Michael Jackson, Jason Asbury, David Dungan, and the recipient also tonight with the police department, another woman. We're going to let the mayor introduce these people. This is our perpetuity award that hangs here within our city council chambers. We have individual awards for each of the recipients, and the mayor, in all of his wisdom, is going to share with you some of the background of each one. Want to do that one first?
I read this earlier today at a police department promotion ceremony, but it means a lot to me. And since a lot of us weren't here, I'd like to repeat it to our safety services, our fire and police services. We want to thank you for the time that you took your oath, for the times you responded to our needs, for your service, for our security, for your bravery, and for our peace. Thank you for our protection, for your courage, for our safety, for your sacrifice, for the times that you've left your families and the times you've risked it all. Thank you now and forever. So first, Courtney, where are you? Come on up. Courtney Brooks. I'd like to do a little bio on Courtney. It's a little long, but she's been very successful. She began her fire service career in 1993 as a part-time volunteer with both the city of Blue Ash and Sycamore Townships fire departments. In 1998, she tested and earned a position as a full-time department member with the city of Blue Ash, where she has loyally served for the past almost 25 years. Through 20 shifts left. She told me that about 14 times tonight. Throughout the years, Courtney has been an integral part of the department's community outreach efforts. She has taught countless CPR, first aid, and fire extinguisher classes for the community and the surrounding businesses. She's often requested by name to instruct these classes due to her ability to connect with the students with her entertaining delivery style. They've got 20 more shifts that they can ask for her. She has been involved with the Juvenile Fire Setter program that provides education and support to troubled young boys and girls regarding fire safety. And since 2004, she has led the department's efforts in planning, coordinating, and ensuring the success of our ever popular open house event held each October, which we sometimes have, I think, 1,000 people attend. And the kids have a blast and they learn more about safety in one afternoon, evening than in years of school. The event is a hit each year, and it's largely due to the immense effort that Courtney puts forth. She's had a leading role in the Can You Take the Heat program since its inception. The program was started in the early 2000s by her late mother, retired Forest Park Fire Chief Trish Brooks, in an effort to recruit and educate and support female participation in the fire service. The program has inspired hundreds of young women to join the fire service, and Courtney's hard work has been instrumental in continuing this important effort started by her mother more than 20 years ago. For these reasons, Courtney Brooks has been nominated as Firefighter of the Year. Her professionalism, her dedication to the community, her ability to fill the room with laughter, and her devotion to her fellow firefighters and the department make her a deserving recipient of this honor. Abby Ballman. I called her a rookie because she's only been with the department for 3 years and I got in trouble. Got a lot of experience before this. Abby was born and raised on the west side of Cincinnati. She graduated from Mother of Mercy High School in 2008. Abby attended Shawnee State University, where she played basketball for 4 years. She was a two-time All-American and inducted into the Hall of Fame in 2018. Abby also graduated summa cum laude with a bachelor's degree in psychology and a minor in criminal justice in 2012. Abby worked for the Hamilton County Probation Department for 4 years. She started her law enforcement career with the Delhi Township Police Department in 2016 and joined the Blue Ash Police Department in January of 2020. Abby's pride and joy is her beautiful baby girl, Isabella, who just turned 1. Abby tells us that she absolutely loves working for Blue Ash. Congratulations. Next, we have Chief Knoll for a presentation of the Meritorious Police Service Commendation Award.
Good evening, Mayor and members of City Council. Giving awards to members of the Blue Ash Police Department is not a frequent event. Maybe to a fault, our expectations are such that we expect our officers to do a great job all the time. There are, however, events that happen from time to time that deserve special recognition, and you are going to hear about one of those events this evening. The Meritorious Police Service Commendation for Courage. Meritorious Police Service Commendation for Courage is an award for an act of bravery intelligently performed involving personal risk to life or for another life-saving act. In the early morning hours of August 9th, 2022, Officer Pete Bronner was patrolling the industrial area of Williamson Road when he suddenly encountered a severely injured 8-year-old boy. That 8-year-old boy had multiple lacerations to his limbs, one of which was life-threatening. It was later determined that the child's mother committed suicide and the child jumped through a second-story glass window to seek help. Utilizing a wide range of personal and professional skills under this traumatic and rapidly evolving event, Officer Bronner was able to quickly attend to the child's medical needs by requesting EMS and applying a tourniquet. This fast thinking greatly reduced the amount of blood lost to the child and in all likelihood saved his life. Officer Bronner quickly developed a rapport with the child, gathering valuable information that would assist investigators and responding officers. After administering life-saving medical treatment, Officer Bronner quickly turned his focus to the trauma and stress the child was experiencing by reassuring the young boy everything would be okay. They spoke about shopping, toys, and a Spider-Man movie. This brought a level of comfort and a smile to the face of a child in the midst of an overwhelming and tragic event. As a direct result of Officer Bronner's diligent patrol tactics and life-saving efforts, this child reached the hospital in time for treatment and is alive today. For these reasons, the City of Blue Ash Police Department awards Officer Pete Bronner the Meritorious Police Service Commendation for Courage on this 10th day of November, 2022.
Thank you. Do I have a motion to approve the minutes of the
So
regular
moved.
meeting of October 27th, 2022?
So move.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Do we have any communications to council, Jamie?
There are none tonight, Your Honor.
Reports from outside agencies? Seeing none, the mayor's report for October of 2022 will be entered into the public record. Do I have a motion to accept the financial report of October 2022?
So move.
Second.
Favor?
Aye.
I'll let them clear a little bit before we move to hearings for citizens. We're not going to hear a whole lot if we don't give them some time.
We want to take like a 2-minute recess or something.
I mean, looks like they're almost done. You need to get, do you need? I thought they were here for you. Water break.
Oh, yeah, fair enough. Good point.
Well, in the chambers, I know we're very aware of the rules for hearings for citizens. We'll move to hearings for citizens. Mr. Nord.
Well, my name is Peter Nord, and I live on Ken Ridge Lake.
Could you speak a little closer to the microphone?
Oh, there you go.
We couldn't hear you.
There's nothing like good microphone practice so that one's voice can be heard, especially nowadays since these things are being transmitted over the air and the audience is much wider. Anyway, I think that there should be an award from the citizenry to Gordon Perry for imagination in the face of inscrutable county bureaucracy in solving a continuous problem that has irritated the citizenry for quite a few years. And he knows what it is, and I know what it is, and I just thought he should be congratulated for the use of imagination and good works.
Killing me. What is it?
Speech. The top secret.
Okay. Apparently, we're not going to get there. Okay, we're going to move to committee reports unless you're good. Okay. We're going to move to committee reports, Finance and Administration Committee, Councilman Zerwanka, Chairperson.
All right. First off, I have a motion appointing Councilman Zerwanka. Is this a conflict of some sort?
Yes.
I think it's a typo. more
It's a
than
conflict.
Frankly.
Okay, go with it. As Vice Mayor for December 8th, 2022.
Second.
It'll be my honor to fill in for the gentleman up here.
In fairness, it hasn't been voted.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, go ahead. All in favor?
Aye.
Discussion? It's a discussion.
I don't know. Is there some discussion?
Yeah, debate, discussion.
Go. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Can I come in on that one?
Yep.
It's interesting. Jamie, please read resolution number 2022-60 by title only.
Authorizing the city manager to enter into a professional services agreement for new payroll and human services software and related implementation services.
Move to adopt resolution number 2022-60.
Second.
Any discussion?
I would like to raise that my brother-in-law, I knew works in this area. And when I asked my sister who he worked for this week, it turns out that he worked for one of the companies that was not chosen for this process. I've talked to our council and I don't believe there's a conflict of interest, but I want to put it out there that there's that relationship. So I have no comment other than.
Could not hear anything. The
Brian?
last portion you said.
Just to be clear, there's Mr. Waltz and Mr. Gath and I've gone back and forth on email. There's no issue here at all.
Very good. Any other comments? Seeing none. Jamie, please call the roll.
Vice Mayor Javari,
Yes.
Councilman Zerwanka,
Yes.
Councilman Capell,
Yes.
Councilwoman Cole. Yes. Councilman Gath,
Yes.
Councilwoman Schneider,
Yes.
Mayor Cirkin.
Yes.
7 yeses.
You. Jamie, please read resolution number 2022-61 by title only.
Providing for amendments within the 2022 annual appropriation resolution number 2021-64.
Move to adopt resolution number 2022-61.
And
Discussion? Questions? Concerns? We're really moving this along here, okay? Seeing none, Jamie, please call the roll.
Councilman Zerwanka,
Yes.
Councilman Capell,
Yes.
Councilwoman Cole,
Yes.
Councilman Gath,
Yes.
Councilwoman Schneider,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Javari,
Yes.
Mayor Serkin,
Yes.
7 yeses.
All I have, Mayor.
We're going to move to Planning and Zoning Committee, Vice Mayor Javari, Chairperson.
Thank you, Mayor. Jimmy, would you please read resolution number 2022-62 by title only?
Providing for the appointments of John Meyer as a member and Andrew Whitkugel as an alternate member to the Board of Site Arrangement and Board of Zoning Appeals for the city of Blue Ash.
These are the people.
We make a
somebody
motion.
move to
Start with the
adopt?
motion.
Oh, okay. Move to resolution number. Move to adopt the resolution. number 2000, any second?
Yeah, second.
Okay. Any discussion?
No, Andrew Whitkugel was trying to make it here to get sworn in tonight, but he'll get sworn in at a future BZA meeting. And John Mayer, I don't believe has to get sworn in because he's already.
Well, I just appreciate them stepping up to serve. That's great.
Yeah, yes. Thank you.
Anything else? Discussion? No? Then would you please read? Go ahead.
Call the roll.
Please, Jimmy, call a roll call.
Councilwoman Cole,
Yes.
Councilman Gath,
Yes.
Councilwoman Schneider,
Yes.
Councilman Capell,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Javari,
Yes,
Councilman Zerwanka,
Yes.
Mayor Serkin,
Yes.
7 yeses.
that's all, Mayor,
Okay,
for me.
we're going to move to the Public Works Committee, Councilperson Jill Cole.
Thanks, Mayor. Jamie, would you please read resolution number 2022-63 by title only?
Amending resolution number 2021-48, authorizing the purchase of a 2022 International grapple truck plus related accessories or equipment through the Sourcewell Cooperative Purchasing Program.
Move to adopt resolution 2022-63.
Second.
Okay, this is pretty straightforward. This purchase was approved in 2021. And because of the delay and increased production costs, the price is increased by about $750. Anything else, Gordon? Does anyone have any questions or comments?
Oh,
What is a grapple truck?
No, I want to find out what Mr. Nord was talking about, so we're going to hit that later. Oh, gosh.
Okay, if there's no further discussion, Jamie, please call the roll.
Councilman Gath,
Yes.
Councilwoman Cole,
Yes.
Councilwoman Schneider,
yes.
Vice Mayor Javari,
Yes,
Councilman Zerwanka,
Yes.
Councilman Capell,
Yes.
Mayor Serkin,
Yes.
7 yeses.
We're going to move to miscellaneous business. I'll turn it over to Mr. Waltz.
Yeah, I don't have anything other than just a comment. Most of you attended the police swearing in ceremony. And then, of course, now we just had the firefighter and police officer year. And it's just actually, as I'm sitting there, it's just a humbling experience to watch them and be a part of that. And in many cases, watch my babies grow up and now get, not to call them babies, they're very, as you can tell, they're amazing candidates and both department heads do a great job, the police chief and the fire chief. But to watch people we hired 10, 15 years ago now become captains and lieutenants and sergeants, and it really is kind of an opportunity to get a little reflective. So it's kind of cool to see. So that's all I have.
Great. Kelly.
Yes. So based on the last council meeting, I took your feedback on the CRA program and prepared draft legislation, which would revise the original legislation, which was approved in 2014. And I'm curious for you to grade my work, but first I'll describe the changes. So what I did was I removed a couple of the neighborhoods that we felt had improved or maybe were always stable to begin with. And that included Arcadia, Barwin Acres, Park Manor, and Kenwood Knolls. And then we provided a cap on the abatement value for single family homes only up to 400,000 and on multifamily up to 200,000. So that's just a first shot at it. And I'm curious if there's any feedback or if you want to think about it, that's also fine.
I guess my only question, but I think you addressed it, when I first looked at the number 400 and 200, it seemed like maybe it wasn't quite enough room, but then as you explained it, that makes sense. And, that's what you guys feel would be the most appropriate.
And to be clear, it's a little bit arbitrary. I mean, we took the average household value in Blue Ash, but it's not a staff-driven number. If there's something that council thinks is more appropriate, we're happy to make the adjustment.
Would you explain for my slowly getting it brain? So we discussed at the last meeting that property, the land is taxed at the assessed value throughout the abatement. The $400,000 is just on the building itself. So
Correct.
if the whole thing were assessed at $600,000, they would get the $400,000 base abatement and then pay the tax on the land.
So
If the land was valued at 200.
yes. And you always pay tax on the land, and then they would get the benefit of the abated value, the improved house value up to 400,000. And if the tax bill were higher than that, then they would pay sort of at the bottom on the land, and at the top, anything over the 400,000.
And then can you say a couple more words? Some of these areas that roll off make sense. Park Manor's developed. That makes perfect sense. Why did you pull off the other areas that you did?
So based on the analysis that we provided for the last meeting, where the code enforcement violations were greatly reduced, rental rates were similar or improved. And so just looking at the areas that still needed some help, I felt were the ones that we left in, and those that maybe don't need as much help anymore, we pulled out. But again, it was shot in the dark on my part.
That's fine, but to understand the intent, this would focus it more on addressing code violation areas with higher numbers of code violations and higher rental rates.
Correct.
My only concern is that the cap is high enough with construction costs and with, the kind of houses that people are putting on these smaller lots now, because if you're going to do it, you can't do a house similar in size to what is being. And I don't have a number. I don't know if this might be the perfect number. No, and I don't know how we would evaluate. Should it be 500? Should it be, that's the thing that I don't have the expertise on at all. So higher. That's fine too. So, if
Especially right
anybody
now,
else-
because prices are going up so much,
You're talking about construction costs.
construction costs.
Construction, supplies, wages. I don't know. And it sounds like a huge amount of. But if we've got $700,000 houses, I'm afraid we go too low. We're coming down from no cap to 400. Is that maybe too low fast? I'm looking for input.
Yeah, overall, I'm liking what I'm seeing so far. There's, a couple of the kind of technical issues. I'm still, just trying to get a little more info on behind the scenes. But what I see here, I'm liking. And regarding the 400,000, keep in mind that any property that's going to be worth 400,000 or more can get the full $400,000 abatement. It's not like it's a situation where if it's a $399,000 property, you hit the jackpot, you get an abatement. But if it's $401,000, you get nothing. It's just your abatement is worth up to $400,000, which saves according to the document here, saves them $7,000 a year of taxes. So I think that's very generous. And I think that's in line with what the goal of the program here is, which is to encourage reinvestment in a neighborhood that needs it. It's not to make it so that somebody building a $900,000 home can hit the jackpot and not pay taxes on it. We're not building mansions with this. The goal is to generate reinvestment in places that need it.
I agree with that. I think it's interesting. I'm glad that you put some of the data and statistics in there, and just looking at, again, I know that 400,000, we have to kind of come up with a number to put in there. but covers 53% of the homes, at least so far. I imagine as the years go by, that number will probably shrink as the value of homes go up. So, today it seems like 53%, around average, kind of middle of the road, they're getting full abatement. Whether that's, we can always assess this program at any time. If, 2 years from now, those numbers don't make sense, we can change it.
Keep in mind, this is driven by realtors and developers. They're still going to, even with these numbers, they'll drive it.
Well, and
Go ahead.
thank you. I think one of the things that comes to my mind is as far as the 400,000 versus the people who have already taken advantage of this and were the homesteaders in some of these things, they took the bigger risk of putting a more expensive house in a neighborhood that, otherwise wouldn't have justified it. So, you probably needed to award, incentivize them higher. And, when you're the eighth house on the street, it's a more sure financial proposition. I do have a concern whether all of the areas, Acadia especially, is over the threshold for where it would be self-sustaining afterwards. I wouldn't want to stop the development in that neighborhood, from going any further. I don't think that it will stop. I think your point, Lee, is well made, that, that they're going to be driving this, and those are where the larger lots are and whatnot. I don't want to pump the brakes too fast, I guess, is the other thing that I got.
Just one thing I need to talk is that, yeah. Okay, can you hear? Kelly, before we did not have any cap, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So why we are complicating all these things? No cap was working very well, and I don't want to go into details like others, but doesn't make any sense to go in putting the cap and then work on this kind of stuff. That's my opinion. I don't no, it shouldn't be any cap. That's all, and it worked very well. Why disturb all these things by putting 400 and then 200 and the administration has to work for all the numbers and all those kind of stuff. If it's worked, and we did a very good job, and administration did a very good job, so why change? That's what my problem. I don't like to change it. No cap was good. Let it go be that way. That's all.
Yeah.
So what now?
Clear as mud.
You want this needs to be a think session, and we're gonna put this out a long time out. It's not like we're gonna make a decision tonight and it's gonna go into effect. We have to give a fair amount of time for anybody right now that's considering or just bought a property and is considering rehabbing it. So it has to be pushed out a year and a half before we actually change it. I think the only thing, PJ, is that I think the feeling is if you can afford an $800,000 or $900,000 house, you don't have to have the entire abatement. It may be a little bit too generous. So I can see your point too. I could probably be talked into either way. So
Yeah, I'm not so excited about the cap either, unless we feel like it's really necessary. But
Absolutely.
But keep in mind how a lot of residents look at something like that. If you're in a $130,000 home or a $110,000 condo, and you find that you're paying more property taxes than someone who just built themselves an $850,000 mansion, people don't take that well. They see that as quite unfair. It's a sensitive issue with people. And from the fiscal perspective here, as long as we're going to continue funding a government through taxes, you want to strive to have the most fair tax policy possible. And I think if you allow abatements to run too wild, which has happened in other areas, then it not only becomes an issue of sensitivity and fairness, but it becomes a financial drain as well.
At the risk of further complicating this, if you weren't comfortable with a cap but wanted to reduce the benefit, we could take it from 8 years to 5 years. That's another way to do it.
Well, and just to clarify, Mark, you said we're not, unless there was a unanimous decision, what have you, we weren't expecting you to make a hard decision tonight. There's no rush. The program will continue until you do make a decision. So in the interest of allowing you to think about it some more, why don't we just end there? And then when you think you're ready, one or two of you bring the issue up under miscellaneous in the future, and we'll go from there.
It's definitely not something to rush into, and we obviously are kind of thinking all kind of different thoughts, so I agree.
So why don't we just think until the
That- yeah.
next one is the January meeting, not
Give us
the
some- that's-
December, because
I
we are
think that's
not
fair.
here.
Give some time
So
to think about it, maybe ask more questions.
Yeah.
I would like this to be on our agenda when we do it, so people know that we're talking about, I'd like to schedule a public hearing, just, I think it, as many
Public-
neighborhoods as it affects, to put out the word saying, hey, this is something we're considering. That would be, well, I don't know if anybody's going to come and say anything, but, you know, to be able to
Some
say,
realtors maybe.
we gave you the opportunity. Well, and, you know, there's a couple builders in town that live here as well, and see what their thoughts are.
Is a public hearing something on this is something that is
There's nothing prescribed. I know we had this conversation before. Hey, can we have a public hearing? But there's nothing prescribed. There's in the law that states what that is. When we have to have one, we have it prescribed. So so you can do whatever you want, I guess. First thing first is I would resolve the legislation. If you're not having a legislation, I don't know if I'd want to have a lot of, public angst over something. That's from my experience. But assuming you get through that hurdle over the next few months and you decide you're about to, approve something, then I guess you would just maybe at the beginning of a meeting, just say, okay, anyone have any comments about this, whatever that means. But there wouldn't be any notification criteria of adjacent property owners, or something like that, that happens with the zoning thing. So I kind of going like this because I don't really know how to format that. You can make whatever, if you want to just do an open house or something, maybe that's another way to do it rather than a public hearing. The other burden you'll have is when are you going to start having public hearings and what pieces of legislations are or aren't. And so then you start, well, you had one on that, let's have one on this, and now you're gonna have them on everything. So maybe a solution rather than public hearing, maybe you just do an open house or
like
something.
before a meeting.
Yeah,
or an
before a
open house,
meeting,
people
do
wanna
an open
come
house
just
from
talk
6 to
one-on-one.
7 and people come in.
Or if
Could-
we, even if
It could be just a work session amongst ourselves.
Oh, I
To
think
work out the
that might be
details.
helpful, it seems.
And
Just-
there's a CRA committee too.
Yeah,
in.
absolutely.
So
and, if it were announced that, if we're getting close to considering legislation, if we have something, if it were announced on the agenda, just so that we can say, hey, yeah, come hearings from citizens, address it then, that's fine. I just want it to be out there so that it doesn't sneak up on
Fair enough.
somebody.
Fair enough. We'll definitely figure out a way to make people have. Yeah, we'll figure something out. It doesn't sound like we're even remotely close on getting anything. A couple people wanting nothing, some of us maybe okay, and then some of us think it's definitely necessary. Let's think about it a little bit. Let's just chew on it. That cabbage. is-
Okay, I'll
Go
be
with
here
it.
when you're ready. That's all. Thank you.
Jamie,
Nothing tonight. Thank you.
Julie. Gordon.
Yeah, just wanted to say, our crews are out doing leaf collection. So please remind your residents to bring their leaves to the curb so we can get them. And if we somehow miss their street, we will be back because we will do every street every week until into December, until we have to switch over for snowplow. And then wanted to let you know that Plainfield and Hunt in a roundabout is open. We're still continuing construction, so I always advise caution driving through there. The construction area has been moved up to Pepper Mill and Plainfield, which is Pepper Mill is now closed. And so it's a little bit restrictive because of the lane closure there, but we're working to try to get that opened up before the end of the year. And that'll be striped in a temporary fashion to get us through the winter and into the next construction season.
Brian Cruz.
Nothing about your awards presentation, the 24th? Okay. Just a quick update about Veterans Day. Of course, with the impending weather that we have, we had to make the decision to move the event. So it is tomorrow at the Recreation Center, same time, 10:30 for the ceremony, 11:30 for luncheon. The ceremony is going to be taking place in the blue gym and the luncheon will be in the red gym. Early appreciation of the staff for all their efforts today, pivoting and making a lot of adjustments on the fly, and everybody for working with us and understanding the situation. It'll be a great event. It's one of our best. And then just a quick little update, since our staff, especially the programming staff, is working hard on 2023 planning with events and programs, et cetera. A lot of that starts now. So one of the things I just wanted to mention with the calendar coming out as well is you will not see Friday night concerts in the calendar. It's been our decision internally that it'd be best next year if we just not do any concerts on Friday nights with the construction project. So what we're going to do is we're going to kind of pivot a little bit and put that into additional programming that may be on some of the other evenings throughout the week, not necessarily Friday nights, but we're just going to kind of relocate some of those funds and efforts to put some things together throughout the summer and just kind of refocus for the year. 2024, come back with the Friday night concerts back in our new space. All right, that's it. Thank you. You do have a couple of things. First of all, on Gordon's behalf, I'd like to say thank you to Peter, since Gordon was so touched up by Peter's comments. That's the first point. The second point is I would like to wish everybody a happy Thanksgiving, since we're only 2 weeks away and we won't have our meeting. And in that vein, I am very thankful to be the solicitor here for the last 7 years and done Blue Ash work for 20 some years, 25 years now. And to be honored to work with this council and staff and my good friend, it's really, I'm really thankful. So I just want to thank you all for that. Happy Thanksgiving to all of you.
Councilwoman Cole.
Thank you, Mayor. Just a couple of quick things. I'd like to apologize for not being able to make the police awards ceremony earlier. I had another commitment, but want to offer sincere congratulations to everyone. And then secondly, I'm really looking forward to the Veterans Day event tomorrow. Of course, with Cincinnati being what it is, and it's saying 100% chance of rain all day long. We may not get any rain, but you never know. But at least we'll be prepared. And on a personal note, my grandson Griffin got one of his poems selected to read. So you will get to see my grandson Griffin.
Fantastic.
That's all.
Councilman Capel.
Yeah, just back everything Ms. Cole just mentioned, and then just wanted to also provide a quick update on the two items I'd mentioned at the prior meeting that I'd be working on. First one will be a simple update regarding the potential tax rebate that I was looking to do. As of Tuesday morning, when I talked to Mr. Pacheco, there were still some legal issues that were outstanding. So I said, let's just pull it off the agenda for tonight and we'll deal with it when it's ready. I don't want to put any legislation out that doesn't have the crossed T's and dotted I's. And then for the more complicated one regarding the pool and tennis courts, first want to extend my sincere appreciation to Brian Cruz and Dan Guthrie for giving me an extended tour and some lengthy discussion regarding the state of those two facilities. I've learned a lot of information there. The pool, I was told, was built in 1979. The tennis courts, I guess they're believed to have been built around 1979, though as I learned, I did not know this, that there are no records that tell us when the tennis court was exactly built, but it's believed it's 1979 or thereabouts, if I remember correctly. And when I walked around there, I mean, they've definitely, the pool's in better shape than the courts are. My impression was they've had a nice long life, and but we got to get working on that. So I'll just I guess instead of going into length about it, I do know that one thing I learned is, so for the tennis courts, which need work quicker than the pool, I think, is we are going to get presented with something that will be kind of a repair job on the tennis courts next year. So we'll be able to smooth over some of the problems that are there, and it'll keep it going for a little while. What I'm going to, just my take then is, what I'm going to suggest then is that when we make that decision, let's also make the decision about when we want to do a permanent redo of the tennis courts. I think those two go together, because whichever repair option we choose next year, that will tell us how long the repair will last. So we know how much time we have. So I think if we put the two together, that we can we can make the courts quite playable in the near term and get that long-term resolution that quite a number of residents would like us to get. So again, I appreciate all the time that the staff spent with me, and I'm very optimistic that I think that we can get this resolved in a quite positive manner. So those are my two updates. And again, thank you, Brian. If you wanted to add or correct anything I said, I'm
You
happy to
summed it
do
up really well. Thank you, Jeff.
I think the only thing I would supplement with that is, through the years, the rec department has made multiple revisions and additions. I don't want to oversell. I don't think the project's that complicated. I'm not sure it requires a whole lot of debate and discussion. So I kind of want to tamp down on like, hey, there's going to be this big decision of some sort. It's just in the budget. We put it in the budget many years to repair a lot of our facilities. So I don't want anyone to have some assumption we're going to give you some grand proposal or something like that. So I want to make sure that's tempered down. It's just one in a long list of projects we'll be making improvements on. And we have a $40 million budget. Not to undersell that, but I don't want anyone to think there's some big brouhaha of some sort that's going to happen, or proposal or presentation to council on that. And it's just going to be included in the budget, and it'll be noted.
Councilman Zarwanka.
I just want to say we have probably the best police and fire departments, and the promotions are a reflection of that tonight. The awards are outstanding, and they're outstanding individuals. Courtney, we're going to miss her shortly. She's going to retire shortly.
20 more shifts.
20 more shifts.
You mentioned it a few times.
And she's done a wonderful job also. But again, we do a very fine job for all our residents and our businesses through our safety services. So congratulations to all of them. And happy Thanksgiving to everybody. So have a good one.
It was a wonderful evening to see all the promotions and the awards. It was a very celebratory evening, so it was wonderful to be able to see that and participate. And short, since multiple people have talked about that, but it was really great to see that.
Beth?
I had an unsolicited comment from a neighbor today who just said, how's things going in the city? And I said, great. What do you see? And she said, I am so grateful for our police department. And they've had some times when they've needed help at their household. And she said that the folks that came and served them, was her word, came and served them, were amazing, were professional, and really did what needed to be done. And what a high compliment that is. And I think tonight we've seen that that's not an unusual circumstance. It's just one person's story. So wanted to put that out there. Also wanted to say the Plainfield and Hunt, I'll just put all that together. The Plunt roundabout is great. I've gotten to go through there. I misspoke, Mayor. I apologize. The Plunt.
Saying it.
It's great. I've been through there a few times, and I certainly appreciate going through there more than the old system. So I thank you very much for getting that work done. We're looking forward to the next phase of that project.
Haynefield.
Haynefield.
That's safer.
Haynefield and Plunt, Mr. Walton. Haynefield and Plunt. You got it.
It's your mind.
Sorry. Vice Mayor Shabari.
Oh, my God. Thanks. I just want to talk about the roundabout at the Hunt Road and Reed Hartman or the Plainfield Road. It's working very well. People liked it. Some of my constituents, they came and they says, no, it's working very good. But I saw 2 times coming from Hunt Road towards the roundabout, instead of taking left turn, going circle and then taking left turn, he took a left turn right there, going there, and everybody was honking. And it was a very bad situation. I saw that, but he got saved. It was okay, but he did that. That's number one. And the second thing is that, what we have, what we saw in the evening, this police officers, their families and everything, and their families' dedications behind the police officers. That's really recognizing, and they're standing strong behind all the police officers. And administration is really recognizing all these things. So that's a good things that, and I'd like to congratulate the administration that they're doing a good job. The third thing, that happy Thanksgiving and Merry Christmas, because I'm going to be out of town from 20 to all the way 21st of December. So I just want to tell everyone Merry Christmas and Happy New Year also. That's all. Thank you, sir.
Not to repeat anything, the thing that amazed me so much about the Safety Service Awards and the promotion tonight and this afternoon was how many of the other service were here to support.
Support them.
The firemen were here for the police and the police were here for the firemen. And I just think that is wonderful. That's
Awesome,
just-
from all over the county.
Yeah,
Yeah.
true. And I mean, parents and kids, and it just, the pride was really nice to see that they take in each other and they take in their jobs. We're going to move into executive session for personnel matters to consider the appointment, employment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of a public employee or official, and also for property acquisition, to consider the purchase of property for public purposes or for the sale of property at competitive bidding, if premature disclosure of information would give an unfair, competitive, or bargaining advantage to a person whose personal, private interest is adverse to the general public interest. I would ask for a motion to adjourn to executive session.
So move.
Second.
Jamie, will you please call the roll?
Councilman Capell,
Yes.
Councilwoman Cole,
Yes.
Councilman Zerwanka,
Yes.
Councilman Gath, Vice Mayor Javari,
Yes.
Councilwoman Schneider,
Yes.
Mayor